As I sit here, reflecting on my adventures with the Argonauts, I cannot help but feel a sense of nostalgia and wonder. The journey we embarked on was one of the most incredible ever completed. I was born into a family that had been stripped of its power and influence. My father, Aeson, was the rightful king of Iolcus, but he had been overthrown by my uncle, Pelias. When I was just a baby, my mother took me away from Iolcus, fearing for my safety, and left me in the care of a wise centaur named Chiron. Under Chiron's tutelage, I grew up learning the ways of the woods and the art of warfare. I learned to hunt and track, to wield a bow and arrow, and to fight with sword and shield. Chiron also taught me about the legends and myths of ancient Greece, and I became fascinated with the stories of heroes like Theseus, Perseus, and Hercules. Despite my upbringing in the wilderness, I never forgot my true heritage. When I was old enough, I decided to return to Iolcus and claim my rightful place as the king. But first, I had to find a way to defeat my uncle, who was known to be a ruthless and cunning adversary. The journey began when my uncle Pelias took the throne from my father, promising to give it back to me if I could retrieve the Golden Fleece. I knew it would be a perilous quest, but I could not let my family down. I gathered a group of the bravest and most skilled men I could find, and together, we set out on our ship, the Argo. The Golden Fleece was a mythical object of great value and significance in ancient Greek mythology. It was said to be the fleece of a magical golden-haired winged ram, known as the Golden Ram. This ram was believed to have been sent by the god Zeus to rescue two children, Phrixus and Helle, from their stepmother's wrath. The Golden Fleece became a symbol of power and wealth, and it was eventually brought to the kingdom of Colchis, on the eastern coast of the Black Sea. The king of Colchis, Aedes, kept the Golden Fleece guarded in a sacred grove, protected by fierce warriors and mythical beasts. The Golden Fleece was said to possess magical powers, and was sought after by many heroes, including myself and the Argonauts. We believed that possessing the Golden Fleece would bring us great fame and fortune. So, we set out on a perilous journey to retrieve it from Colchis. The Argonauts. They were an incredibly brave and skilled group of men, and I couldn't have completed our quest without them. Allow me to introduce you to each of them, as I remember them. First, there was Hercules, the son of Zeus himself. He was the strongest and most powerful of us all, and his courage in battle was unmatched. Then there was Orpheus, the son of Apollo, who was not only a skilled musician, but also a great warrior. His music could soothe even the most savage of beasts. Theseus, the legendary hero who had slain the Minotaur, also joined our cause. He was a great fighter and his reputation preceded him. Zeus and Calais were the winged sons of the god of the north wind, and they helped guide us through treacherous storms. And last but not least, there was Pelias, father of Achilles, who was a great warrior and skilled tactician. He was wise and always kept a cool head in the face of danger. Together, we were the Argonauts, a band of heroes united in our quest to retrieve the Golden Fleece. Our first challenge came quickly. We had to pass through the clashing rocks, two massive boulders that smashed any ship that sailed between them. It was a death trap, but I knew we had to take the risk. I prayed to Athena for help, and she answered my call, sending a dove to guide us through the rocks. As we sailed on, we encountered a myriad of challenges and dangers. We battled fierce harpies, faced off against the giant bronze warrior Talos, and navigated a sea filled with deadly rocks and whirlpools. But we did not let fear or doubt consume us. We were determined to succeed. Our journey led us to the kingdom of Colchis, where the Golden Fleece was held. The king, Aedes, was a powerful and ruthless ruler who had no intention of handing over the fleece to us. But I was not deterred. I knew I had to be cunning to obtain what we came for. Medea was a vital ally in our quest to retrieve the Golden Fleece. She was the daughter of King Aedes, the ruler of Colchis, where the fleece was kept. When I arrived in Colchis seeking the fleece, Medea was intrigued by my determination and my willingness to risk everything to achieve my goal. She saw something in me that she admired and wanted to help. Medea was a powerful sorceress, and she used her magic to help me retrieve the fleece. She gave me a potion that would make me invincible for a day, which I used to defeat the fierce warriors and monsters that guarded the fleece. She also gave me advice on how to navigate the dangerous waters, and warned me of the many dangers that lay ahead. But Medea's help came at a cost. She had to betray her own father and her own people to aid me. And when we fled Colchis with the fleece, her father sent his army after us. Medea used her magic to create a diversion, which allowed us to escape, but in doing this, she had to kill her own brother, so it came at a great cost to her own personal well-being. In the end, Medea's help was crucial to our success. Without her magic and her knowledge of Colchis, we would never have been able to retrieve the Golden Fleece. But the price she paid for her loyalty was steep, and it weighed heavily on my conscience for a long time after we returned home. However, the story does not end there, and my homecoming was marred by tragedy. When I returned to my kingdom of Iolcus, I found that my uncle Pelias had taken the throne and refused to step down. I enlisted the help of Medea, who had fallen in love with me, to use her magic to depose Pelias. Medea concocted a plan to trick Pelias into believing that she could make him immortal by rejuvenating him in a cauldron. In reality, the cauldron was filled with boiling water, and Pelias was killed. However, this act of revenge came at a cost, as it marked the beginning of a tragic series of events that would ultimately lead to my downfall.
According to Greek mythology, Jason and Medea's story did not end well. After they returned to Greece, Jason became enamored with another woman, a princess named Glauce. Medea, who had sacrificed everything for Jason and had even killed her own brother to help him, was devastated by his betrayal. In some versions of the story, Medea seeks revenge against Jason and the princess by sending a poisoned robe and crown to Glauce as a wedding gift. When Glauce puts on the robe and crown, she is consumed by flames and dies a painful death. In other versions, Medea kills her own children with Jason in order to hurt him deeply. Regardless of the specific details, the story ends with Jason alone and miserable, having lost everything that was once dear to him. Jason died as a result of breaking his vow to love Medea forever. He lost his favor with the goddess Hera and died lonely and unhappy. He was asleep under the stern of the rotting Argo when it fell on him, killing him instantly. The myth serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of infidelity and betrayal, and the tragic results that can follow.